Hey folks,
Hi.
we are Encrest Studios. I'm here with Aliza Benders, the mastermind behind Encrest Studios, and I'm Csaba, who's going to play a little bit this Mythswayer game, which is a.
It's a demo, first available on Steam. Uh, we've been working on the game for a year now after our last project, and it's far from complete or done. Uh, in fact, this is what you should still consider as a prototype or an early alpha version of the game, but it has a lot of features and it's playable. And we tend to uh, we try to uh, make this game a big roguelite fantasy adventure with turn-based combat and a lot of exploration and loot and magic in the upcoming months, maybe years. And for that, we need your support, and of course, we need your interest in the project. That's why we prepared you this demo version. You can try for free on Steam now, and we are open to all your suggestions and feedback and constructive criticism and all the stuff um, you can give us. I want to emphasize at this point, maybe this is lame or I don't know, but I think it's important that you players know that this game is currently absolutely and without any caveats developed by essentially one people, that's me, because I'm the only programmer and game designer who knows all the tricks of the Unity engine and all the workings of game design, and Chaba is here, of course, to help me with some, not some, with much of the level design currently, and testing, and PR, and marketing, and other stuff that goes into game development. But essentially, I'm the only one working on the game as is. Uh, all the functions and graphical display and sound system and the core systems design as it is, apart from the development. If you open the inventory, Chaba, for me, you can see that it's going to be an RPG like game where you have your primary attributes, you have secondary stats, you have skills and spells you can learn. Uh, right, like in a tabletop role playing game, everything has rules, interconnected systems can be uh, utilized to make you stronger. Enemies will try to utilize effects that make you weaker, and with synergy from all the items you can find and equip, which gradually, as you level up and items become more higher level, mean a lot of bonuses to skills, to spells, special effects, elemental damage. Not in this version, later. So maybe it's a little bit early what you can try out for yourself, but it's working, and we have a small but not that too easy adventure you can try against goblins and shamans and skeletons,
Right.
and this is what Chaba is going to show.
Yes, but
While we
first I'm going to spend some attribute points like one on finesse and two on arcane bolt. For now, because we do not have any special here until I close this and open
the chest,
the
yeah.
chest where I found.
Hmm. So the game is action points based. Tempo is the name of the action points in this system. When in combat, and only when in combat, the game switches to turn-based mode, and then this is the resource you can spend on different actions. Different kinds of actions cause different kinds of tempo, and when you're out, you end the turn. The enemies will take their turn and then go back at you. And then we have focus on the right, which is primarily the resource you can spend on skills and spells, and you have life on the left, which is your life. You know, you lose it all and you die. And we also have three kinds of protection: one for physical damage, one against poison, which is not in the current version, and one against arcane or all kinds of magic damage, which can be very useful when you're fighting elemental forces. And as you can see, for example, as Chaba is hovering the cursor over the different items, you can see what would be the change to your stats if you equip or unequip that particular item. This is a system. I believe Chaba was going to ask this question later.
Yep.
What is the most interesting, or what is the system I'm most proud of uh, right now
That's
in the
right.
game? And I think if you can go on one of the items, the
Sure.
hat, for example. So you see, now it's equipped, so it's now showing what would happen if you unequip this item. That would mean you lose the 1 bonus to Arcane Bolt, and you lose the 2 bonus to Protection, which is the base stat of this hat. Uh, and if you unequip it,
There
then
it
of
is.
course it's the inverse, because it shows you will get some bonuses. And this works for the most intricate, most complex items, and even in situations where you swap one ring to another. And I think not only how it works, but how it's presented without you having to open any kind of extra window or some comparison screen in addition to what is on the screen. I'm a little bit proud how it came together. So you have an item and you instantly see on the other side of the screen what would happen if you equip and unequip that item
So
which is
every
currently
every
equipped. So
important stats and the items and its and their details can be found in one single screen.
so this takes us to another important part. I think you can start exploring that this game is that the core systems are not designed to be too complex. The philosophy behind this game is to have a relatively simple rule set, which still gives a lot of opportunity for combinations of skills and effects you can utilize to stun your enemy, slow your enemy, then light them up, then manage your resources, put up a magic shield to protect yourself, prioritize which enemy you want to strike first. And since all these battles will play out in a 10 by 10 grid like this, or even a smaller area, it will get very tactical when you have more enemies approaching you with different skills and abilities and special attributes like regeneration, or maybe some shaman could resurrect for example an undead. You just so this is the skill selection, and Chaba now put up an arcane shield which gives temporary protection against physical and against magical attacks. It's not time limited, it's like a buffer, so it will now mitigate the first 4 physical and the first 6 magical damage he suffers.
Right. And
And if you
also,
have the, yeah, those are main stats, and with the hourglass, that's the tempo we will have if it's a combat turn. He's
also
aiming
there's
an
that
arcane bolt.
little window. Yeah, I just wanted to show this little
Yeah, sure.
window where you can see additional statistics of the
Yeah,
enemy.
yeah, in green you see your attack value. In orange there's the defense value of the enemy. Against the arcane bolt, this poor goblin doesn't have much, so that's why it's 100% hit rate, and it also tells you what damage will be dealt. It's 3 to 12 right now because the goblin has 1 arcane protection, and if you just for a moment show the skill selector.
Skill selector, yes.
So you see, this Arcane Bolt deals 4 to 13 damage, but when Chaba is aiming at the Goblin,
Oh, excuse me. Not with the shield, with an arcane bolt.
that one arcane protection is calculated in, so you see the exact value you will, not the exact value because it's random, but the exact range you will deal damage in.
Let's
Okay.
see.
So of course these are very basic enemies just to get you know the system, like it was a tutorial part of the game, the very first few battles you fight, but this it will. So these are tomes. This will be also a system in the game. You can find things that give you main stats or skills, even skills you don't yet know at all. So
Right.
hopefully we'll encounter some tomes which give us yet unknown skills. As you can see, the sun is going down, so there's a day-night cycle in the game, which also affects, for example, the kinds of enemies you encounter. And later on, we have a lot of plans for this system, both for combat and for exploration and hiding secrets in plain sight. For example, like a clue. For example, one chest would only appear at night, and you can find some kind of information in a chest about it, or maybe a treasure map. So it's all planned out, but we started the development with the very basics of this game. That is the combat system, the inventory system, the character system, the graphics, how we display you all the environments with the day-night cycle, basic implementation of all the animations, the effects.
Right. What's been
It's a
the
long
most
road.
challenging system to develop so far?
That's a good question. Uh, I would say maybe not the most challenging, but one of the other systems that are the most robust under the hood is the Pathfinder system, which works in not only works in 3D, 3D-dimensional space, but can also take into consideration where you can jump over something or leap a gap. And even if multiple platforms are above each other, it would find that route where a character can jump, 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 jump. It is very important for the AI, for your enemies, when they calculate a path to you and decide whether they can go to you, or maybe they rather use some ranged attack or some other skill because they are not in danger, and maybe they just want to heal or chill or cast a buff on one of the other uh, comrades they have. And this system is enabling us to later on give you places like a tower with multiple floors on the same screen that still work, that still doesn't confuse the AI, and of course still doesn't confuse your own pathing. Later on we are planning to, yeah, that's a locked gate, so we'll have to find a key. So later on we are planning to add other kind of movement options like clicking on a grid and show you the pathing you can take, but primarily we aim the game to be enabled for full controller support. It currently is not, because it's a technical thing where we have to test with different kinds of controllers and make sure everything works. But the interface and the systems themselves are built with this in mind, so it won't be a big problem. So that's why we don't have currently movement by mouse click and have this turn and move forward on the keyboard input. This will evolve. We're very interested in your feedback about how do you want to play this game. But since we want to emphasize the exploration part of the game, and it takes place in these diorama-like environments of 10 by 10 grids, we think it's a nice flashback to retro games of the C64 and Amiga era, where adventure games like this had similar control scheme, and it was just a blast to explore these environments looking for secrets. I think I'll give the word to Chaba to ask me some questions,
Yeah, right.
and we go from there.
Okay, I know that you already you have written a article about the critical chance mechanic.
Yeah.
But how did this mechanic change gameplay or the behavior of the combats or the tactical side of the game?
Okay, so it's an interesting story. So initially, I wanted to omit this kind of mechanic from the game, like critical chance, and base it only on attack and defense numbers. But though it works, it created a problem with scaling, where in some cases the player always hit or always missed the enemy. For example, with a melee attack, and the enemies also had sometimes if it was a lower level enemy, there it was very hard to balance that they still have some kind of chance, maybe not to defeat you, but to at least hit you for a
Right.
lesser amount of damage. And then since we don't want to oversimplify the system, I thought maybe we can have something more, and that more can be also stat on items you find, and this makes items more interesting as well. And now the critical chance is basically a fixed percentage of a critical success. If you roll that number in the background, then your attack is an instant hit. And this is very interesting because even for a low level enemy, if they have at least a few percents of critical hit chance, or maybe 10% with a
Right.
melee attack, that will mean even if you're very, very good at defending yourself and they wouldn't have any chance to hit you, they still have the 10% chance to hit you. And of course, you can mitigate this with other things like protection or
I see.
dodge mechanics, but still it makes even the most lesser enemy, for example in a big battle later on where you have some high level enemies who summon odds to swarm you, those swarming little pesky enemies would still be something you have to pay attention for, because if three of them attack you twice in a row, so the six total attacks in a turn with 10% chance to hit you, the 60% chance basically that one of them will hit you.
So you need to deal with that.
Very roughly said.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and that means you have to pay attention to even those small enemies. And for example, one of them carry a poisonous blade, or all of them carry a poisonous blade. It makes it even more interesting because maybe they don't kill you, but you don't want to get poisoned. And then you have more tactical decisions to consider. Where do I stand? Where do I go to limit the amount of attacks they can land on me? Or maybe let's just deal with them with an area of effect attack very quickly because they have less HP than the boss. So critical chance goes a long way, and of course, through the months up to early access and beyond that, of course, it will be have to very carefully balanced. One point of balance is already in the version that is available, and that is the maximum amount of critical chance bonus.
Yeah.
So bonus, not
Yes.
overall critical chance, but
Right.
the bonus you can have from items, in addition to the, for example, the basic critical chance a skill has, which goes up with, if you go to melee attack, for example, you see that it has a 11% basic critical chance, but with one of the rings, I believe it's now on 15%. Yes, because of that ring. And if you go back to, yeah, and if you go to finesse now,
Yes.
it also tells you that this is the maximum bonus you can have on critical chance. It's finesse, finesse times 3%. So that means currently you can have 12% bonus to critical chance. And this emphasizes different different approaches to how you want to build your character. There will be a lot of ways you can build a character, because you can still have critical chance bonuses even if your finesse is not too high. But for example, if you want to emphasize your ability to critically hit all the time, or most of the time, then you will need a high finesse that complements that kind of bonus and lets that bonus to be applied to your attacks. But if you don't have that much finesse, it's all right. Then you still benefit from critical chance bonuses to an extent. But that means you don't need all the items that give you critical chance, because it goes to waste above the limit. So you can maybe drop one item that had critical chance and equip something else that is more beneficial to you. And this way you won't be shoehorned into uh, just collecting items with critical chance because it's so OP. Because it's only OP if you have a very high finesse, but if you have a very high finesse, you are not likely to have a very high HP or a very high focus. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And this will make the game interesting instead of just accumulating the best stat on everything and
Yeah. So
rolling
there's
through
there's there's
everything.
no, I mean, of course there are builds that can be better than the others, but you can choose which way to go, which item to add into your inventory and equip, and also which
Yes,
stats to choose for
yes.
those
And
items.
also it's very important that this game will be a roguelite, where every run you start in a book. There will be magical books, and you basically enact that story that in the book by realizing it in like a trance.
Yes,
And there's a special mechanic where you can switch out of the book and modify your environment. We're going to show
that's
it
what I
in
wanted
a
to
bit.
ask it.
And that's available in the demo for you to try in a very
Okay,
basic version.
should
uh
we go in this way?
a moment. So
Okay,
what I wanted to say, this is going to be a roguelite, so of course what you find in a run can be very random. Meta progression will help you mitigate the randomness of a run by selecting some item bonuses or bringing some preset items with you from the start. But base and later on, vendors you can find will let you a little bit more accurately choose what items you want to carry with what statistics. But basically what you get is random, so you have to adapt to your findings. That doesn't mean you can't be very specific in what you want to build, but the system is elastic enough to let you work with what you have if you know the inner workings of how the game is set up. So
right.
okay, there's a skeleton warrior, and if you rotate the camera, you will see that the skeleton warrior is in a cave, which is also blocked by the pedestal there. And that's one of the obstacles you can remove with this magical tome, the Collectio Idearum, which is basically a collection of patterns you can apply to specific objects in the world. You in later on in a fuller version of the game, you will have to collect or unlock these ideas, and of course you also have to find the magical ink you can work with. Chaba now selected the pedestal idea, and
I'm gonna use red ink to remove that pedestal.
essentially you move it to the red layer, but the red layer is not
Sure.
interacting with the player. So that's why you'll see if Chaba closes the book, the pedestal now disappears. And that means the skeleton can come out and we can go in, of course.
I'm gonna prevent this and attack first.
It's quite a high level enemy.
Yes, level 4 skeleton, but let's see. Their
And he
turn.
also regenerates a little bit, and we don't have much more focus left.
Yes, but it was
But
enough.
it's but if you're out of focus, you can drink a potion. Maybe we can show that.
Yes, let's drink a potion. Here you can find different types of potions, but we're going to drink this minor potion of focus as we need focus. I
Yes.
won't drink the other one because it's going to overcap it and we're going to lose those extra two.
Yeah, yeah. So in this version, it's free to drink potions. I mean, they don't cost tempo to drink potions even when you're in combat. This may change later, of course, or this may change based on the game mode in a later version, of course. Where, oh, you found a key item, pun intended, and also a tome which teaches you a new skill, invigoration.
Geez, I had 25 questions for you, and half of it are already answered because we found things earlier than I expected, or you already described these things. So
So
good. Okay,
sorry.
but this is a good one. I mean, what was the thought behind designing a spell like invigoration? And first, I'm going to use the tome and learn it because this is the way how you can get, let's say, get a spell, right?
Yes.
Here it is.
So currently, the concept is that the player can have at most 7 skills slash spells, but you can unlearn one if you don't need it or you
Hmm.
don't want it. And you'll also meet teachers or vendors who can sell you tomes or teach you or advance your profession in one of the skills you like. Uh, and the concept is to have all kinds of spells and skills that complement each other well, and also that, so to speak, you can do everything if you have the right spell or skill. So invigoration is a buff and a healing spell in one. A time warp is a spell you can cast on yourself to be faster, or you can cast an enemy to slow that enemy a little bit. Arcane bolt is a full-on direct damage dealer spell. Melee attack is melee attack. Arcane shield is the protective spell, and the game will also have runes which are consumable items. You find like a tome, and a rune will be suited not to one, but a selection of spells or skills, and you can choose if you want to assign that rune to the skill or to a skill, and that then will permanently modify the effects of that skill. For example, how it's planned right now, we'll have a rune that can split an attack, so it will be applied maybe not just an attack, but to anything that has a target. And frankly, all of these skills have a target. So if you apply that rune to one of these skills, then for the cost of one, you will have the ability to cast it on 2 targets
Wow,
instantly.
sounds good.
But probably the effect will be lowered or the focus cost will be higher, so it will be a trade-off. So when you find these kind of runes in your run, you'll always have to decide, okay, do I keep it and sell it later, or do I keep it because maybe it's useful but not now. Maybe if the situation is, then I will use it. Or okay, this basically gives that kind of effect to one of my skills I want, and then you apply it. Uh, of course, it may have a cost, and the removal of a rune effect from a spell may also have a cost.
I see.
These are things we're still iterating through,
Yeah,
and of course, as we're going into early access later, we'll be very interested in your feedback about how these systems work, and we'll balance things around
right.
the most enjoyable gameplay. So up until now, Chaba is just mowing through these enemies.
Yes, and I'm wondering how can I get up here because I need this loot and this treasure chest as well, but I couldn't see any way up there. So
Yes,
was
but you see that there's an exit up there
right
on the cliff to
here.
the to that direction. So that probably also means that there's some area there from where you can access the top of the cliff here.
And also, it's highly advised to check the Colexio Okay, the inscription feature, I'm gonna call it. Okay, because probably you have enough ink not only to create covers, but probably to create a
Yeah, let's show it.
pedestal.
So if it was I believe daytime, then there would have been an archer on the top of that hill,
No,
and in that
it's
case,
here.
oh, you killed it.
Yeah,
Okay,
just after I entered
but
this map.
in theory, there would be more archers, for example, and you need some cover.
Mm-hmm.
You can use the red ink.
Would
Let's
you
use
like
the
me
red
to
ink.
use it? Okay.
Yeah, to make those pillars on the appear on the purple layer. The purple layer is the one, the center layer where the reality lies, where the character and the arrows can interact with it. So if you close the book now, you'll see that these two pillars appear, and you basically created two covers you could have hidden behind if you were under fire from those archers.
Yes. Like I did in this map.
And this feature will be very much extended to the direction where you can create obstacles, remove floor or bridges from below your enemies, and let them fall into their demise, and open gates, access sites that are otherwise inaccessible, making these systems all take time, of course.
Yes, sure, sure.
But this looks like a bigger battle,
It
and
is.
there's a shaman.
And as a shaman, I'm going to cast time warp. No,
On yourself, so
on
you're faster
myself.
now. Time warp reduces the tempo cost of all your skills for
No,
2 turns.
do it again. Okay, let's drink. Jeez, push the wrong button. So, I still have 5, but it needs 7, so I'm going to attack first because they're going to kill me right now. Now this is going to be a hard one because I spent a lot of...
Yeah, the shaman is now casting arcane shield as well.
I don't know if
The
I'm
archer
going to
couldn't
survive.
shoot you because there was the tree, but the goblins are closing in. And now we have a chance to defend ourselves before everything goes to shit.
No.
So melee attack is good because it doesn't cost the focus, of course. If you have a
Yes.
good chance to hit that
Yeah,
goblin,
it was
maybe
15%, so I mean, uh, nope. So it's
that's not good. That's because of the critical chance. Because as you see, sorry, can go back?
here.
Again, show me the targeting, please.
Yes.
So as you can see, but not with arcane bolt.
The melee then.
Yeah. So the defense value of the goblin is way higher than our maximum we can have an attack. So we can have 11 attack at most, and he has 15 defense. That would basically mean this is one of the cases I was talking about where we would have zero chance to hit this goblin with our stuff. Of course, we are a mage. We are not versed in melee combat skills, so that and we don't have a lot of vigor attribute. So that's why our attack is so low. But still, it's kind of a bad player experience to have zero chance on something. And this is where critical chance comes in. And with that 15% critical chance, we still have 15% chance to hit him if we want to risk it. But in this situation, it's not the best idea.
No, because we would like to show more with the first one, so that was awesome. Probably a bit too much. So, or plans for the end game aren't that, let's say, easy that you see now. It should be much challenging, but it also, I mean, it also depends on what loot you
The
gather
game
during
doesn't.
the way.
The game is not balanced around its roguelite features right now.
Not yet.
It's a demo that showcases the basics of the combat, the exploration, and the item system and the character system. This demo is not about, unfortunately, but one person can do so much in the given time frame. We're now at the point where all the basics of the game, technically and system wise, are up to the point where we can start to add on all those extra layers of complexity and content, which will make this game very interesting to play and challenging to play. It can be challenging to play right now if the odds are against you, of course, but this is only a demo to show you how it works, what it is, how it looks, how it feels.
I don't want to spend more.
That was a good melee hit.
Yes, at the end. But it was
At the end.
risky, but not that risky.
Okay, any more questions?
Yes, sure, sorry. I forgot to ask it what was the original idea or inspiration that sparked Mythswayer.
There was a lot. I mentioned some. Well, I did not name games, but I said earlier that there's a lot of games on Commodore systems that inspired this kind of retro feeling of exploring these diorama-like areas and having this kind of turn-based combat. But the main inspiration or the main feeling I am going for, we are going for, is to combine the feeling of a Diablo-like game with a turn-based roguelite exploration game.
I see. Then, how do you want players to feel when they explore the world of Mythswayer?
Yeah, so the goal here is to create worlds which will feel very fun to explore and find secrets in, and have challenging encounters which you can approach in different ways. And I'm not only talking about the builds you can make your character into, but playing around with day-night cycle, the weather system. Maybe you wait for the night because you know it's some kind of enemies there who are weaker at night, and you wait for a storm because they are fiery enemies, and you know that heavy rain
Or
will dampen
contrary,
the fire.
you don't want to wait for the night.
Yeah, in this, or on the contrary, yeah, you want to avoid the sun setting and want to reach the end of your road uh, in daylight, of course. Uh, so yeah, big part of the final game will be a random quest generator where the quest itself is not pre-built but very carefully generated based on rules to give you a fresh experience every time. I have quite an experience in making random generated content for games. If you know us, maybe you know that USC and USC Counterforce, previous games, rely very much on random generated missions and campaigns. The replayability that can bring to the table, where you have a meta progression and can always start a new, fresh adventure in a yet unknown world, that is filled with secrets and treasures and enemies you have to overcome is just but that's the real inspiration here, to create something in a fantasy world with a complex but not too difficult to understand system, which encourages looking for loot, managing your resources, taking decisions and tactical decisions in battles, and of course some story or some deeper lore is also in the works, but we can't show everything at once.
Yes, but we can talk
To,
about it
yeah,
at least. I mean, on Steam you will find also an article written by you about the future plans of the game and the
yes,
vision itself.
yes. There I have summarized all the major features and functions which are planned for the final version of the game. And when I say planned, it doesn't mean that it's in the balance, it hangs in the balance whether we'll make it or not. I mean we have it all planned out, and we have a time frame in our heads how we can get from here to there. So those features I'm writing about are, if everything goes well, uh, those are the features the game will surely have. And what you can see now is only the base for building those features upon.
Yes, I had another question that you will see at the end of the game, but because this game is a roguelite game per se, how would you describe the progression between each run?
Uh, in the demo, there's none.
Okay.
So if you reach the hut at the end of the demo, you can start a new game plus with your current level and items and fight against higher level enemies. That's available right now, but that's not meta progression. It's just a new game plus mode, so to speak. Meta progression will be a great deal where you can unlock starting items, starting skills, passive abilities for different classes you can choose from, and there will be also a reliquary system, so very powerful, very nice items you find, be it weapons or armor or jewelry. You'll have the ability to bring out of that book where you found them, make it permanent, make it into a relic, into the reliquary, and you can bring those items into your next run. But these items won't overpower you because their level will scale to your current level. You'll just know that if you live long enough, that nice sword you brought with you will also gain power as you level up. And in the end, when you reach the end of your run, you'll have that very nice sword you wanted to have, and you'll not be risking not finding a good weapon, for example, because in a roguelite it can happen that you don't find a good weapon, or maybe you have more items like this which are very good in synergy with each other, and you want both of them to be with you from the start because you know that, for example, at level 7 their synergy will kick in and you'll get that power spike which will help you defeat uh, a, a big foe in that adventure that has defeated you multiple times before, and now it's revenge time.
I see. Sounds good. Now I found something here that I can go this way.
And yay, this was the way where we can access this area.
Okay, so I need to get this chest. It's a nice loot. Again, it's important, and I'd like really to underline that the game won't be, let's say, this easy. And the other thing that is important, and we can show it here clearly, that here's a level, an average quality wizard hat, and then we have an exceptional one, at level 4, and here's a gray item, let's call it gray,
But
level
it's level
6,
6.
but it's
Yes.
better, yes. Last time I had a run in one of my tests when I reached level 10, and I didn't change the stuff that I had from level 6, even though I had a lot of stuffs in my
Yes,
inventory.
and the quality level of an item, you will be able to improve the quality of an item with the blacksmith, of course. And there's no blacksmith currently in the game, but there
Yes.
will be. And the blacksmith, if so, we're talking about, for example, this decrepit quality level 6 stuff, which is good. Imagine if you can improve its quality up to masterwork. That would mean it keeps its statistics, which are already good. And for example, you need these exact statistics, so it's a good stuff for you. But making that item masterwork, of course, by spending a lot of resources you can find, will make it even better in those exact statistics it has now.
I see. So these,
And there and then you will have the ability to make it a relic and
right,
bring that item as a scaling item to any new run later.
right. So
So
that
this way,
means that these
yes,
ingredients will be useful. They're not yet implemented,
they are
but
not
will
yet
be
implemented.
useful to make such an improvement for an item,
Yes,
right? And you are going to carry, as
yes.
you will see soon, because we're going to. No, I don't. What if I cast it second? Oh, okay, I tried it. You can only cast it once.
Yes. So these enemies are quite high level.
Yes, like a level 7 archer and a level 6 skeleton warrior, so let's see
So I
if
think
I can.
that archer will cause some problems, I believe.
I must have. Right. Uh, target the archer first.
Yes. That
One
was
more.
I believe that was life saving.
Yeah, because I wanted to show New Game Plus. Because
Yeah.
but the other way it's easy. If we die, then you're going to start. I mean, rebirth and start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, with the yes.
Without any of the stuff you already looted or the skills you've
That's
improved.
basically a new game at this moment, yes.
That's
In the demo
yeah,
version, yes.
okay.
One thing I wanted to say when we're talking about the items and why the game is
Hmm.
quote unquote easy now, the quality and amount of loot. So you already have a bag full of rings. This won't be the case in a properly balanced
Yes.
final version of the game. Loot will be precious. It will not be that scarce that you never encounter anything, but it will be not as abundant like now. So it will have a greater value when you find the chest and you will know that, okay, in a chest there's some magic item. I want to get to the chest because chests are bound to contain at least one magic item, but it won't be magic items falling left and right. For the demo, we put in this amount of items so you can see how different items can be, what statistics they can have. You can play with them, see how the level progression goes on some of these items. And as you can see, they can give you quite the power. Also, we didn't want to release a demo where the enemies are so strong that you basically don't have a chance. Uh, Maybe in the next demo or
Yes.
test version, you can try maybe more uh, carefully crafted challenges.
So will there be inside parts like dungeons as well in the game?
Yes, of course. We'll have a lot of indoor areas, caves, dungeons, houses, and particularly dungeons and caves will be another big part of that randomness we can give. So even for uh, adventures that are handcrafted on the top world. Like there's a house and there's a forest and there's another house and there's the ruins and it's always the same. What's inside that house and inside that ruins will be random generated
Hmm?
to smaller or greater extent.
I see. There's another question because I've looted the Tome of Brawl, which will give me a melee attack. Is there a chance for a mage to have a lot of melee attack also during
Yes.
runs, or the main focus is to use those spells? And
No, I mean, if you want to build a battle mage who has a lot of health, a lot of melee attack, and other melee skills which are not currently in the game, but there will be a lot of skills that support melee playstyle, like
I see.
counter strike, like parry,
Hmm.
dodge. You can be a mage who is very well versed in melee combat and, for example, only uses magic for defense or healing or buffing himself with some mm, time warp, for example, to be quicker,
I see.
or can teleport, for example, but he still uses melee attacks, so he teleports into the fray and starts swinging around, then teleports out. You can build that. You'll be able to build that if you want to.
Okay, what are the plans for other playable characters, if there are such characters
Uh,
in the planning? I mean, that you plan to add
yeah.
to the game. Can you please share a
So
hint?
yeah, yes, sure. So
And until that,
beside
sorry,
them,
before you answer, I'm going to play. Okay, until you answer, because
okay,
I've started a new game plus, and I'm going to only ask questions and play.
okay. So yes, beside the mage, that is uh, absolutely sure that there will be a paladin or champion type fighter who can use shield and melee attacks like swords or maces, and there will be a hunter or huntress character who can use bows and have quivers as secondary items. By the way, the mage in a later version will have an offhand item as well, some kind of magical source. Yes, there. And in the current version, there are no amulets. Amulets will be a thing, of course, as well. Like any other different kinds of capes and gloves and boots and so yeah, and classes, the progression system is mostly classless. That's what we're talking about. You can build almost anything you want, but classes will still make some limitations to your play, to your run, because your chosen class will determine some of the items you can use or can't use, and some of the spells or skills you can use and can't use. There not be many of these because we want the system to be mainly classless, but to give flavor to the different types of characters, we'll have some kind of restrictions on classes. For example, the mage or the paladin, they can't use ranged weapons at all. Only the hunter will be able to use ranged weapons. But of course, if you want a paladin who can cast an arcane bolt, that won't be prohibited. But for that, you'll need a lot of focus, so or a lot of potions. Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question: that how will story and lore be delivered in future builds?
Mainly through interactions with NPCs who will have some dialogue with you on the screen. Uh, Not too much dialogue, but something that gives you flavor. And you'll be able to find scrolls that on the details panel in the inventory will tell you a paragraph or two about something. As I mentioned, maybe a clue about where to find a secret or how to open a puzzle or what to watch out for in an area. And also, the game will be centered around this magic library where you open the books you want to have Mythswaying adventure in.
Mm-hmm.
And on that center library, in that center library, there will be also elements of gameplay that constitute the main story or the main goal the game will have, which is it's not a big secret to defeat a master tome, an evil tome that is in the center of the library, a chained book with some, maybe it's bound in human leather,
I see.
never know.
So it won't be that story heavy, but it will have a story.
And that book will kill you or
Ah,
multiple attempts.
okay.
That book will have chapters which are very, very tough to to complete. So you will progress in those chapters and will be eventually be defeated. But there will be other books you can start to have the meta progression kicking in. You can collect your relics, you can enhance your relics, you can collect your materials, you can unlock new IDs for the Idearum, you can upgrade the basic stats of your classes
I
and
see.
so on. And then you can give another shot at the evil tome and
Yes.
see if you can push through that area where you died before. So
Yes.
that book will be the ultimate goal of the game, but that doesn't mean that will be the content you play the most.
Hmm?
Uh, Most times you will play other books. You can play indefinitely in randomized quests and with probably each of them will have challenges tied to them, which give you extra bonuses if you can defeat
Right.
them, and so on.
Okay. Probably you remember that the last run, previous run, we didn't have enough ink to cast this pillar here. But now
Yeah,
we had the red ink, so the pillar is there, which
and we
means
can.
I can come up here and shorten the way. And I'm going to drink first. And there's the place where there was a shortcut. So we are
Yeah,
down here, which is not that easy, and we are too close to these melee characters, but also we have a wonderful
Arcane
arcane
Bolt
bolt.
always finds the way. Yes.
It will always find the way. So let's see. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. I always choose these goblins first who are closer to me, but it's your decision who to attack. Probably you're going to start with the shaman, so it won't cast any spell, but if you...
If you kill all the goblins, there's no one you can spell the you cast the spell on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
so
So I ran
and
out of tempo, right?
he can cast on himself.
Yeah. And I'm going to flee.
He also
Come down here.
let's see what the AI does. He finds the way back, of course, very easily.
Okay, let's close this combat. And I'm going to ask again another question that do you plan to implement a meta progression system? Like
We've talked about.
unlockables? We already talked
Yes,
about
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, I remember. Sure, sorry.
meta progression will be a very big part of the roguelite
Yep.
experience, of course.
Uh, yes, the spells that I wanted to ask you, that what kind of additional spells and skill types are in your wish list for the
Uh,
final version, like for the mage, if we are playing with the mage now. I know that it's this part
so
is
one,
limited, but are they going to be, I don't know, 20 possible ways or less?
I don't know the number, but one thing I can surely say that a system of elemental effects is very much part of the initial plans for the game. So fire, frost, lightning, and poison will all come to the game. Uh, Both weapons or more weapon-like skills and spell-like skills will have elemental effects. So we'll have fireballs, uh, frost walls, poisonous arrows, lightning bolts. or some variation of these.
So that's why
things.
these stats like magical protection is important.
Magical and poison protection will be very important later on, not in the current version, unfortunately, but
Okay, I think we're good now because I have a couple of other questions too. But as far as I think we've already covered most part that we wanted to talk about. Do you have anything to add? Would you like
not
to add
really.
anything?
I can probably start talking about everything and never finish. So that's why you instead you can read the article
Yes.
and play the demo for yourself, see how it works. We're I'm looking very forward to feedback at this point. Though I have all things planned out, I'm not foremost interested in new gameplay ideas, you know. But of course they are welcome. What I'm more interested in, and Chaba as well at this point, is what you think of the potential that's currently in the game. The demo is a bit limited, yes, and the balance is not there because we just wanted to have a demo where you can have fun and see how the game works. But I hope if you try the demo, it gives you a good foundation, a good feeling of what the game can be, and we very much like to hear from you about what your experience or what your general uh, feedback about even the visuals or the UI, or what would you like to see later on.
Yep, that's right. And one other question is, I mean, we'd like to ask you to put the game on wishlist because if you do so, then you're not aiding us but supporting us to keep the project running and to get us probably funded.
Yes. So that's very important, and we are very grateful for your help in this phase of the development because we really did a lot of work into what you see. It's been a full year of developing this project from the ground up, from nothing, in the hopes that we can continue in the direction we went. Yeah. So that was a strong skeleton warrior.
Yes, it was. But of course, I've passed some of the possible ways to encounter that enemy, so that's the reason.
It's a masterwork stuff. It was a masterwork stuff. It's just level 3, but it's a masterwork. Which means in its currency that it does way more damage. So it's 3 to 4 damage compared to your other stuff, which I
And
believe is
remember
just
that last time
1 to
we
2.
started here, it was almost evening
Yes.
time, and now we are at daytime, which means we do not have a skeleton here, but 2 goblins against us. Okay, but let's continue, and I think this is the stream for now. I hope you all will enjoy the game, and we would like to have any positive feedback, of course, because it's important for us. So
You can also join the Discord channel where we
yes,
can have a conversation, uh, more like than on a forum, but your feedback on the Steam forum is welcome as well, of course.
yes, thank you very much. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.
Have a great day.